How North Korea won a World Cup? Didn't North Korea never won the World Cup? Guess we're gonna find out this video. Okay, here we go.
I told you, North Korea has a World Cup. It's not a lie, though there's a catch. And it's the 2014 Brazil World Cup. You probably remember who won that one. But to understand the joke, we need to go back 44 years to something that genuinely changed football history. It's 1966. England is hosting the World Cup, and nobody knows anything about one of the qualified teams. They've barely played any friendlies, and they come from the most closed-off country on the planet, North Korea. This is the height of the Cold War, and North Korea sits firmly on the communist side, ruled by Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-un's grandfather. He personally chose the 22 players who traveled to England, almost all of them active duty soldiers, and unmarried, because that was a condition for making the squad. If the regime decided you weren't coming home, you had nothing to lose. They arrived with so little fanfare that a Christian group ended up putting them up, meaning Kim Il-sung's communist soldiers spent the tournament sleeping under a lit-up crucifix, which they later said terrified them. Their group included the Soviet Union, Chile, and two-time defending champion Italy. North Korea lost to the Soviets, drew with Chile, and nobody expected anything from the match against Italy. So little that the Italians didn't even bother scouting them. Match day, Middlesbrough, 18,000 fans in the stands, many of them working-class locals who adopt the mysterious Asian underdogs as their own team. Italy only needs a draw, but their midfielder gets injured early. No substitutions allowed back then, leaving them to play a man down. In the 41st minute, Pak Du-ik scores, 1-0. The stadium loses its mind. North Korea defends for the rest of the match like their lives depend on it, and the final whistle confirms it. They've eliminated Italy from the World Cup, the biggest shock of the tournament. Italian journalists, with no information on the unknown scorer, simply invented a story, that he was a dentist. It wasn't true, but the legend spread worldwide and still persists today. The Italian team came home to fans throwing tomatoes at the airport. North Korea became the first Asian team to reach the quarterfinals, where they faced Portugal and Eusebio, the reigning Ballon d'Or winner. At Goodison Park, North Korea stunned everyone by going up 3-0 in the first 25 minutes. But Eusebio took over, scoring 4 times to drag Portugal back into it, and Portugal eventually won 5-3. North Korea's exhausted soldier players, not professionals remember, simply ran out of legs. Still, the crowd gave them a standing ovation for arriving without even a hotel booked and nearly beating the best player alive. They wouldn't return to a World Cup for 44 years. Fast forward to 2010, South Africa, North Korea's long-awaited return. Immediately, something feels off. Around 2,000 perfectly synchronized North Korean fans fill the stands, despite the fact that North Korean citizens essentially can't travel abroad. It turns out they were Chinese actors, hired and dressed in North Korean colors by a Chinese company, paid to fake the existence of a traveling fan base. North Korea landed in the group of death: Brazil, Portugal, Ivory Coast. Before the Brazil match, the story became their star striker, Jung Tae-se, who cried visibly during the anthem. He wasn't even born in North Korea. He was raised in Japan, the son of pro-North Korean, Korean-Japanese parents, and had never lived in the country he represented. He cried anyway, because for him, it was the honor of a lifetime. Adding to the intrigue, 4 of the 23 called-up players didn't show up for the match, fueling asylum rumors that FIFA had to officially deny. North Korea lost 2-1 to Brazil, scoring a late consolation goal, and state TV broadcast the loss back home, delayed 24 hours, as something close to an honor. The next match against Portugal was a different story. Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal dominated from the start, going up 4-0 by the 35th minute. Mid-broadcast, back in North Korea, the signal simply cut out. The game ended 7-0, but state radio later reported it as 4-0. Apparently, a defeat the regime could tolerate. while a 7-0 humiliation could not. North Korea lost their final group match too, and went out without a win. What happened next is murkier. Reports from outlets like Radio Free Asia, The Telegraph, Clarín, and El País claim the players were paraded in front of hundreds of officials for hours of public humiliation upon returning home, and that the coach was expelled and sentenced to forced labor, sparing only the 2 Japan-raised players. None of this was ever confirmed. Jung Tae-se flatly denied it. FIFA investigated and found nothing. CNN couldn't verify it either. Oddly, the coach later resurfaced running North Korea's Olympic team, which doesn't exactly fit the forced labor story. Something likely happened. Embarrassing the regime rarely goes unpunished, but exactly what remains unknown. Then came the truly surreal part. By 2014, North Korea hadn't even qualified for the World Cup. But mid-tournament, a YouTube video surfaced from a channel called Korea News Backup, featuring a familiar North Korean state TV anchor announcing that North Korea had received a last-minute invitation, that their 2010 squad had traveled to Brazil, and that they were dominating.
With 2 fantastic goals. The Brazilian fans celebrated the North Korean team's advancement to the semifinals with ecstatic fervor on Copacabana Beach and cheered for the world's supreme leader, Kim Jong-un. In the next stage, the semifinals, the brave North Korean team will face Portugal, the team home to Cristiano Ronaldo.
Over the US, 2-0 over China, all the way to a Maracana final win over Brazil itself. Footage showed jubilant fans celebrating. Outlets worldwide ran headlines about Kim Jong-un fooling his own population into believing they'd won the World Cup. The video hit 7 million views. It was entirely fake. A South Korean comedy channel had dubbed real anchor footage with invented commentary. China wasn't even in the tournament. Japan wasn't in the same group. None of it added up, but media outlets ran with it anyway. The cruel irony: North Korean citizens, without YouTube or open internet access, never even saw the video. The country famous for lying to its own people didn't fool anyone that time. The rest of the world fooled itself. Meanwhile, the real story went almost unnoticed. North Korea's women's teams have actually been dominant. Their under-17 squad won world titles in 2008, 2016, 2024, and 2025, more than any other country in that category's history. Their under-20 team won in 2006, 2016, and 2024. 7 world championships, virtually unreported, because it's women's football and doesn't generate clicks. The world preferred the fictional men's championship instead, because it confirmed what everyone already believed about North Korea. So, did North Korea ever win a World Cup? The women's team, genuinely, yes. The men's senior team, never. And that's really the point of this story. In 1966, they did something real and remarkable, beating Italy on a goal from a supposed dentist and humbling Eusebio's Portugal for half a match. In 2010, they returned with fabricated fans, a censored broadcast, a crying striker representing a country he'd never lived in, and unconfirmed rumors of punishment. In 2014, they weren't even there, and the entire world fell for a joke anyway. That says something about how we consume information, how easily an unverified story spreads when it confirms what we already want to believe. Park Do-ik stayed in Pyongyang, a national hero the rest of the world still calls the dentist. Jung Tae-se went back to Japan, kept playing professionally, and later denied the punishment rumors entirely, though almost nobody believed him. North Korea never won an actual men's World Cup. But in 1966, they won English hearts. In 2010, they won the world's attention. And in 2014, they pulled off something no team ever had: winning a World Cup without playing a single match. At least in the imaginations of 7 million people who never bothered to check.